Welcome everyone to the session we're doing today. My name is Darren. I'm the founder of 0 to 1. We help startups and scale ups, and we're involved in a lot of different projects surrounding internationalization, helping startup ecosystems. And today we wanted to do a session for all of you, for people who are interested in setting up a business in the Netherlands, who are already doing business in the Netherlands. To look at alternative ways of financing. So, thank you for listening to me. I just saw someone say thanks for having us here. So normally when you look for financing or an investment, you would think of perhaps going to a bank or going to private equity firms. But in the Netherlands, there are a lot of options in terms of government grants and subsidies. So this is a bit of specialized work. And that's why we asked an expert here today, Gerwin Knippenborg, to talk to you a little bit about what is possible in the realm of subsidies in the Netherlands. First off, I would like to tell a little bit about the Startup EDR project we're doing. This is a project funded by the European Commission, should I say that right? Commission, Interreg, to help startups within the Ems-Dollart-Region cross the border and meet with each other. And that is also one of the reasons we're doing this, because we want to internationalize the community a bit more. So without further ado, thank you for being here. If anyone wants to ask something, please raise your hand, type in the chat. I'll try to moderate a little bit. And for now, let's listen to Gerwin.
Hello, Darren. Thank you for the chance and the opportunity to do this for you guys. Really interesting. As you know, I'm really a big fan of startup businesses and modern technology for a long time already. And it's a great chance to talk to you guys about this and all the opportunities that are present in the Netherlands. Because I think we've got a good developed system of subsidies and opportunities for people. And therefore, I think it's quite good to take a look into that and see it differently than normal people do. Normal people, when they want to finance something, they go to their bank and say, right, I want this, that, or the other. But there are better, simpler, and mostly more cost-effective opportunities for financing your projects. It's just a little bit about my own background in this world. I've been doing this for 25 years now, and I'm doing this from my own company. We are based in the very eastern part of the Netherlands, in Lochem to be perfect, which is a bit more south than Darren. And we are operating here with 10 members of staff, which are more or less all schooled in a specific scientific field of technology, which can be of any kind, and therefore they think they will be good partners to speak to. Right. To give you a short introduction, as you're looking at your screen now, you see that I looked a bit different than I did when this photo was taken. This photo was also taken pre-corona. So therefore, I look a bit different now, and my hair grew. I need a desperate haircut, but it hasn't been successful till yet. On the right-hand side, you see my colleagues. Actually, we're one lady missing at present, who has a background at medical specialty. So therefore, we've got most people represented. And this is the entire team who works with me, some of them already for nearly 25 years, which I've been doing this, and others a little bit shorter, but we do operate in this setting since 2009. And we have been successful for all kinds of businesses, startups as big companies, small, etc. So therefore, we're quite lucky to be so involved with startups. What I first want to tell you is some of the general basics of our business. What I show you here is a slide of what I call my shareholder stakeholder thesis, which I tried to do when I started this at the University of Nijmegen some 25 years ago, to do my doctorate in this business. Unfortunately, as you've seen, I didn't succeed. After some 3 years, my lovely wife said I should get a proper job and earn a proper money as well, instead of being trying to be a scientist. So therefore, I did something real. And what you see on your left-hand side is a big ball representing the government. On the right-hand side, you see the company, and on their right side, there are all kind of small dots which represent all kind of influencers or shareholders or stakeholders in the company who try to influence you. But the most important, most decisive company of influencer of the company is the government. If the government decides that we all have to go in lockdown, we all have to go in lockdown. There's no ifs, wits, or whats. Nobody has any chance. And how does this government represent itself? It represents itself in 3 forms: subsidies, financial support, fiscal financial support, and credits. And on the right-hand side, you see the sanctions which they can do, which are cuts, fines, etc. So the government, being the most important part of this influencer in the company, I always say, right company, look on the other side. Take a look, what does this government want from us? Which do you want happening at present? And as they say, they have all kind of issues which they want solved or which they want to be looked at, and they hand out money to get it sorted. This entire process is guided by the General Administrative Law, which says there are certain directions to follow, which also makes it very easy, which first of all sets out clear goals, what they want, and secondly gives you clear data what to deliver. So therefore you have a great opportunity to see them, and they all have to be publicly announced when they are set out. So therefore it's also very easy to know when and what is happening. So therefore this is my basic support is company, please take a look at government. Government says where it wants to go and hands out money to you to follow that direction. So therefore, I should think this is one of the most important things to look at. Why should you be doing this? Everybody, normally you've got 2 ways of financing a company. First way is equity, and the second way is debt. But I also tell everybody that there is a third way, and that's government assets. Government assets, as you can see, are free of cost, which debt and equity is definitely not. And if everybody says, right, fair enough, yeah, you have a very nice saying, Mr. Knippenborg, that government assets are free of any cost, but they take so much hassle. You have to do such much amount of work for it, which actually isn't true. And a lot of this information or actions are already administered by yourselves, or you have to be declared to your accountant. So therefore, if a government wants an audit report, it's normally 99% of this information is already present in your own company. So it shouldn't be any hard to get it. So therefore, I always say, right people, first look to the government assets, because that's the cheapest and easiest way to finance. Subsidies in general. Always one very important point is apply for a subsidy before you start. Every time, every government says, wherever you are in the world, if you don't apply on forehand, you don't need any money because you already did it, so we can't help you. We won't help you. Very important is keep track of your costs and hours. Also, consider whether the costs outweigh your benefits. What costs are you making, and how many subsidies are you getting, and what do you have to do for it? And is this an effort you should take into. Right, and then the simple answer is, my advice, always submit your investment plan to your subsidy advisor so that you can take a look at it. And very important, don't just apply for money, because it's not free money. What everybody else might think, it's not free money. You, as shown in the previous chart, you have to do something for it. So it takes an effort, and this effort should be closely guarded, watched and guided through your activities. Subsidies in general. What you see here are three big bucks of money, as they are often pronounced. These are all subsidy funds. And for on the left-hand side is the EU. In the middle is the country, national. And on the right-hand side is your regional affairs. As you see, Europe is a very big bag of money, but has to be divided in 26 countries now, yes, after the Brexit, and which means that in 26 countries there will be people trying to apply for this money, and they will also be of any competition to you. So therefore, European subsidies are mostly for strengthening the economy and the competitive position of the European Union. But also, as you already know from Darren, his introduction, are for cooperation within the EU, which is the Interreg program he was referring to. And the general themes, innovation, environment, energy, and the reduction of raw materials is something you also will find in all the three other possibilities to fund your projects. But for European projects, Central European projects, you definitely need large projects. The high pre-investment to get a proposal drawn up. You go most oftenly only in cooperation with other companies, which means look closely to your IP rights and take a close look at what's happening there. And your administrative cost for a European project is pretty steep, pretty high, and you need to watch that closely as well. And what a very other important aspect is that all European competition is very stiff. This means that you got a very slim chance of success. In general, if you are anywhere between 4 to 7% success rate of an European project, then you are a lucky guy. So therefore, I generally say don't even try it, because there is another very big disadvantage. A big disadvantage is the aspect that you only can start with your project after you have been granted and finalized the subsidy, which means that you have to have had an offer letter from the European Union to start your project, which is much different to national subsidies. In national subsidies, you can normally start after filing your application, which is a very, very big difference, especially if you take into account that a general application for European project takes you between 300 and 400 hours at least, and the time passed before you get anything near an offer letter is the minimum of 6, and most generally a 12 months period. So therefore, it's a long time. And if you in this meantime can't do anything with your project because you didn't get that offer letter, you're lacking a lot of time. So therefore, I normally say, please, people, stay in your home country, stay in the Netherlands, because that's much simpler. It's easier to go. They have the same themes as you can see here. there are also smaller and medium-sized projects abilities. Anything from 25,000 up to several millions is possible, but it doesn't need to be that big, which in comparison to European countries, of European subsidies is a very large chunk which you should file. So you can say it's far more easy to access. Let's be honest. It's far easier to go to The Hague or Zwolle, where a lot of offices from the government handing out subsidies are based, than it is to go to Brussels or in general. It's far easier to speak to them. You can easily pick up the phone or visit them or speak in your own tongue with them. No problem at all. Standard administrative requirements, which are already applicable to your general administrative orders. So therefore, I would say stay close to home as you can. Regional subsidies, very interesting part. What you see on your right hand, top right hand, is all the flags from the provinces in the Netherlands, and all these provinces have their own subsidy abilities, and again with the same focuses: reinforcement of local economy. And what's different, for example, in comparison to your EU application, is the chance of you having competition in your own region from another project is very slim, because nobody is likely to do the same thing in your backyard as you are doing, and which the competition in the Netherlands could be, but in Europe there will always be a competitor of any place or in any place in Europe to your project proposal. So far easier to apply for regional subsidies. Even far easier to speak to. They are nearby. For example, if you're talking about the northern part of the Netherlands, which Darren is based, you can talk to SNN, which is the cooperation of northern provinces, which is Friesland, Groningen, and Drenthe, and you can drive straight away to Groningen, and there you visited their office and talk to them, and they will tell you what the abilities are. So therefore, I would say stick to as close as you can to home. As I said before, I know I'm getting repetitive, but anyway, it's a very important aspect. Subsidies, the most important part: technical development and innovation. This is for every country in the world, for every society in the world. This is the most important funding ability you will ever get. In the Netherlands, you get 3 big opportunities, which are seen on the left-hand side, which is first is WBSO, secondly is EFRO, and the third is MIT. The most important chunk of money in the Netherlands, we're talking about a budget of more than 2 billion euros for Dutch companies, is in the WBSO. And specifically for startups, there is an extra budget, but we will talk about that later. EFRO is European Fund Regional Affairs, and where you say, huh, that's strange, you said you wouldn't go to Brussels if you were me. No, this regional affairs budget is divided or spent or sent out by the regional offices. As I said, for example, by SNN in Groningen, they handle the EFRA budget, and therefore they can be easily accessed, and they are no problem to get. Small and medium-sized innovative technology, also a very nice Dutch regulation, but that's central government again, and that has any opportunity from possibility studies until complex R&D projects, which both can be done. Second, as said, energy and environment, always the most important part. As we see in the entire world, energy, our environment is under threat. We all get funny things happening. Winter, very steep winter suddenly, and then a week later you're in spring with high temperatures. So things are happening outside which should be looked in. And first of all, you see on is the energy investment application. It's an extra tax-deductible subsidy. The same for the M is in Dutch for environmental. Then you got your investment grade for energy. Then you got your SDE, which is for larger energy producing projects like big solar fields or windmills or any CO2 reducing technology you can think of. Could also be biogas or water flow or whatever, anything you can think of, and will be handed out via the means of a little amount of money per produced energy amount. And then you got your circle exchange projects, which is obviously quite logical what they hand out. Then we got the investments. Very typically Dutch. BIK, which says job-related investment support. And this is not for job relation. No, it's actually on your investments, which means that you get a percentage subsidy on your total investment, which is in the period from October 1st last year until December the 31st of 2022. So next year you can apply for this, and this gives you 3.9% subsidy on your investment, whatever that may be, apart obviously from some minor details, like for now it's not for housing your private, not for financing your private home or private car, but any other investment. Yeah, that's it. Vouchers, same thing. From SNN again, which we're talking about earlier on, vouchers for trying to get people in to help you with your application or whatsoever. Right, then we go back to our WBSO subsidy, R&D tax credit, or Wetbevordering, Speur- en Ontwikkelingswerk, as it is called in Dutch. Very simple, isn't it? Anyhow, this is the oldest and biggest subsidy in the Netherlands whatsoever. And it is a subsidy for any technical development project which is technically new to your company. It's very important to let that sink in. New to your company means that it doesn't have to be new for the world. It doesn't need to be new for Groningen. It doesn't have to be new for Emmen whatsoever. No, it needs to be technically new for your company. And it could be on development of products, could be on your production process, software, although software is a different cookie in this area. Anyhow, we got that sorted. Or any part of this development you want to do. So very important is to let sink in that it has to be new for you as a company. Because you don't have anything to do with being highly R&D. No, it just has to be technically new. And if I'm a bit trying to be a bit humoristic, I guess I always say it's easier to get the development of a new wheelbarrow into this regulation than a software project. But recently it came across that is actually true, that you can develop a new wheelbarrow, which is actually already in use for more than 2,000 years, I think, than a software project. But no, just not kidding. It has a very important, technically new to your business. That's the most important part. You get 40% of your R&D wage cost, which is for a general company. As stated directly after, it's 50% for startups. And again, people realize this is a whole lot of money. It means that 50% of your total personnel cost is supported by this regulation. Self-employed people can also apply, and it relieves you of payroll tax. What does it mean by that? There's a set hourly rate, which is 29 euros, which you get, and then you get 50% of that as a subsidy, which you can directly subtract from your payroll tax, which is so in the month after you've got your offer letter, you're in business. You can apply anytime, any period this year. And if I am honest, and if everything works like it did before, in 2008 and 2009, when we had this big financial crisis as well, we saw that this percentage even got as high as 62% for startups. So it's not happening yet, but last year already they raised it from 40 to 50, and for this year, so might happen again. Administrative, actually quite easy. You just have to register your hours and the person by whom, and you have to present when asked for, so it doesn't need to be sent anywhere whatsoever. You just have to have it present in your office. Is a file where you can see that you actually have been doing something on these projects, which can be photos, charts, drawings, whatever, as long as it's clear to them that you have been spending hours or time on this project. So quite easy. Standard hourly rate is 29 euros, and lately based on the arrest. And in addition to that, you can also get an extra bonus in 10 euros if you are for your other costs. So that's easy. If you stay under the 1,800 euros hours, then you apply for this as well. Quite easy. Next, so then you go to 39 euros per hour, 30, making it easy. It's 40 hours, 40 euros, 50% subsidy is 20 euro per hour. I think it's a whole lot of money for a startup company. You have other examples you can do on your other materials. You could do it also on your direct costs, which means that you have a bigger chunk on your materials. Anyhow, you see here a picture of an example which delivers you 75,000 euros in a year, and 3,000 hours to be correct. That's no more than 2 people, which is actually not hard. And how many is 100,000 euros for machinery? Buy one gas spectrometer thing and it's already gone. But the most important time is register your time, register your time, register your time. No time keeping, no hourly checks, right? You don't get anything. So very important. Then we go to the regional subsidies. You see here all the regions, Afro Subsidy, and you see that all provinces in the Netherlands are present, and they all have their own office. In the north, as you can see, is SNN, quite near. It's based in Groningen. In the eastern parts, which is here in the middle, is where we are, Overijssel, Gelderland. We are here in Gelderland. We got OP Oost, which is an office in Arnhem. Then in the western part of the Netherlands, we got Council for West, as they call it. Obviously, all these regional fair departments have their website also in English, and they are quite capable of speaking English, so there shouldn't be any problem at all to get your information if needed. So Council for West is in North Holland, South Holland, and Utrecht. And then we go to the very southern part, OP, which actually stands for Operational Program South, which is for Noord-Brabant, Limburg, and Zeeland. In general, I would say very stiff competition in South, since there is Eindhoven, which is a very innovative region. So we are experiencing more competition there. But in general, it's quite local and you can do it.
Erwin.
Yes.
We got a question.
Right.
Is it okay if people ask questions that I ask them?
Yep, no problem at all. Please, Darren, if I can find you back. Yeah, here you are. Yeah.
So we've got a question saying, hi, may I ask, if you do not meet the government's expectations, then the only consequence is you will not receive the subsidy money?
Sorry, could you come again, please?
If you do not meet the expectations for the subsidy, is the only consequence that you will not receive the subsidy money, or are there other consequences?
If you have willingly fraud or willingly done things wrong, you could get a fine as well. But if, and that's very important, there's two things to consider, Darren, here. First of all, a subsidy is always money for an idea, a proposal. And proposal ideas have the chance to go wrong. But if you spend the time and you spend the cost, you are always eligible to the subsidy. So it doesn't need to be a success. There has to be, you have to show your effort. And if you can show your effort, you are eligible to the subsidy. So it doesn't say that you have any sort of fine whatsoever. No, if you show what you have been doing, you can show your hours. There's no problem at all. But on the contrary, if you have been willingly frauding your hours, etc., you are in deep problems. Sorry about that, Darren.
No, it's fine. Thank you. I hope that answers your question.
And if I'm going too slow, people, please tell me so then I move forward fastly. And I suppose that Maria will send out the presentation afterwards as well, and then you can all see it as well. Right, Afro here, subsidies Northern Netherlands, several VIA regulations for organizational innovation development project. Unfortunately, at present, no more budget, but I hope that it will come up soon new. And yep, there's some other opportunities down here as well. Human resource for Drenthe, really interesting. Voucher, Friesland, also really a good possibility to use. Knowledge vouchers, international voucher for starting up your international business. But Darren, I think everybody will know that. It's 2,500 euros. MIT, also MIT, also a knowledge voucher, 3,750. Very interesting. And all provinces have their own vouchers presently. But as we are experiencing lately, they are really, really in high demand. Last week we had a voucher regulation for the province of Rijssel over here, and within a day it was all gone. There was a total budget of, I think, somewhere in the region of 3 million spent within a day. So therefore, take a close look. I know that Gelderland has a voucher coming up. The 2nd of May it's opened. And it's also a nice budget. MIT, these are the top sectors that the Dutch government wants to invest in, which you see on your right-hand side. Again, everything with innovation and new development is easy, and you can apply for that. You've first got the feasibility studies, feasibility projects, which finance 2 parts of cost. First, your own hourly rates, and extra if you want to take on board an advisor or an external, which can also be financed. 20,000 euros, quite nice budget to do so. As I said, 40% subsidy on your hours and hired expertise. I think this year it's going to be as the 1st of April when it will start, but can't know for sure at present, but easy to find out. Right, 13th of April, I didn't know that. Okay. Then you got your circular chain project subsidy. Also, a very interesting regulation for SMEs to cooperate. And you can also all have your own nice subsidy budget, and you can cooperate it divided through the amount of members you part.
We've got another question.
Right, where you are.
So I got a question from Ubaid. I hope I pronounce your name right. But the question is, for someone who is not in the Netherlands, but in another European country, for example, Italy, are they still eligible to apply for the subsidy? And for example, maybe if a partner is present in the Netherlands?
You always have to have a Dutch, if we're talking about the regulations, which I'm now talking about, you always have to have a Dutch cooperation, Dutch base, a Dutch position. But that can easily be done. For an example, we filed an application recently for an English company who is willing to go to the Netherlands as well in the near future. And that's an opportunity.
Good.
Good. Clear?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, right, fair enough. And then we, as said, you can file your circular chain projects from the 1st of April to the 30th of September. Right, here we got our, job-related investment cost subsidy, which is actually 3.9% on your investment, which you are doing in the period, as said before, the 1st of October until the 31st of December 2022. You can file several applications per year. Most important is that they need to be at least 20,000 euro of total cost and a subsidy of 1,500 euros. Please check your investment records if you have done anything since the 1st of October last year. Which is also, it's good to know that you can combine this subsidy with all the other regulations, like you see on the left-hand corner, the small scale tax deduction, or the energy tax deduction, or the environmental tax deduction, which raises all these percentages really big. Just to give you an idea, here is a sheet of opportunities, how you can combine things. Energy investment tax deduction as environmental are really nice. It's 45% of your, I always explain it, it's a extra tax deduction. What do I mean by that? In general, all your costs, your investments are tax deductible because they are costs. But with the energy investment tax deduction, you get 45% extra. So if we take 100,000 euros, you can deduct another 45,000. So you can deduct 145,000 euros directly from your tax, which gives you a net profit of 10-11%. And as you see, for example, there are things like LED lighting, but also electrical cars, etc., etc. The same thing accounts for environmental tax deduction, also very nice. Obviously, to keep it simple and easy, they've chosen a different percentage rates and they divide it into 3 categories. But again, very interesting. And again, it's extra amount of money. The energy shift we need to make in the Netherlands. It's we want and what we need and what we have to do, especially up north. I think everybody is really interested that we make a change. It's all about CO2 deduction. So if you are doing anything which really deducts CO2, you can calculate your amount of subsidy you get per produced CO2 reduction. Then and you get per unit. There's a tax deduction. There is a calculation tool on our website, which is shown here down south. There's also an investment subsidy on environmental friendly energy projects like small solar panels and small wind turbines, which is also quite nice to know. An average is also 30%. Right. What do we do for you? We do, first of all, deliver our services in the application, which means that we file your application. First of all, we write your application, or even better said, first of all, we select the opportunities we've got. Then secondly, we write in, obviously with your agreement and with your information, we write the application, we contact the officers who are involved and make sure that everything is bang on time and as fast as possible, because as said, there's a quite high demand presently and deadlines are really, really strict. I've said more often than once that even if our king would like to change anything in the deadline, he couldn't do it because it's set by law, and therefore these deadlines are so strict. We also provide you with advice on keeping track on your administration. We even got some digital tooling for that. Yeah, it's always a question, what do you want us to do? Do we have to file interim reports, final declarations, whatever you need to be done, we can arrange it for you and would like to do that as well. We always said, as in our business, in general, it's no cure, no pay. Why? Government is always a very sticky, tricky, complex partner to work with, which means that it's very, very complex for businesses to judge how many time they or we have to spend on it, which is, you can't say upfront. So therefore, most people choose for the no cure, no pay opportunity, which is 15%. Most important is to recognize and realize that the cure is delivered when the offer letter is handed out to you. So take good care of what you're asking and when you're asking it. hourly rate. Obviously, as in any financial business, we can do hourly rate as well, and they are in the normal price ranges, which are generally applicable. Quick roadmap. On our website, you find a free quick scan. You can do your introduction to screening for you afterwards. When you say, right, fair enough, go ahead. Then we have the project idea discussion, setting out the discussion as seen here on the right-hand side with two of my colleagues. We can do that online on demand as well. So therefore, we are quite easy to approach. So that shouldn't be any problem. We apply for the subsidy. Most important, we always try to, especially with bigger projects, we always try to speak with the granting department as well, because they can give you very useful information on what to do and what not to do. But also you can, in advance, get a chance or get a grasp of how successful you can be or not. After reviewing, we can also discuss with them as well. So therefore, that's a good idea. And then after the start of your project, it's your project administration. As said, we've got some tools for that as well. And your final declaration of the subsidy, we could arrange as well. Right. I thought I'd try to be finishing a bit humoristic, which is in Dutch. People, there's a lot of money present in The Hague or with the central Dutch government. They want to hand it out, so go and ask for it. Therefore, I would say, right, this represents quite well what the general situation is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gerwin. So we got one last question from someone who's watching, from Anouk. Anouk asks, what kind of subsidies would you advise for early stage startups that do not yet make any money and also do not pay themselves any salaries yet?
Ooh, that's a quick, tricky one. I would say start with the voucher approach first of all. That's what I would do. But it's a tricky one. Why? Because if you don't pay yourself any money, it's quite hard to get things sorted and having to hand out money. So therefore, I would say start with the voucher regulations first.
Okay. And to continue on what I saw Maria say in the chat, I will send everyone the contact details of Gerwin, and we'll facilitate the connection if you want to talk more, because I think Gerwin did a great job just now explaining a very complicated field, because there are so many subsidies.
Sorry, Jared, it's really easy.
Well, for you it is. For you, but it's not easy for us. So I think, and I know that there are tons of more different niche kind of subsidies.
Yep.
It would probably be way too much to cover right now. So I think in the roadmap you also showed that you do like a quick scan. So if anyone is really looking for what kind of subsidies they might be eligible for, I would definitely advise just talk to Gerwin and doing a quick scan maybe with him, and we can set up those contacts for you. We'll also send the slides to everyone. So we'll make sure that you'll get some help with finding out if subsidies are if subsidies can be something that can help your project or your company. Also, what I wanted to say is, like I mentioned in the beginning of the session, we are hosting this as part of the Startup EDR project, which means that if anyone here has the ambition to cross the border, you need some help, we've got space to support you together with all our other partners, the Hans Hogeschool, the University of Oldenburg, Incubator Leeuwarden, a ton more. and the Gründerinnen Center to help you, see if you can make the transition from one region to another region or from one country to another country without immediately having to charge you anything for it. So if anyone needs any help, just let us know. And for now, I want to thank you, Gerwin, and I hope everyone has